Welcome to the Good God Pod. Today we are talking about resurrection, relationships, and then we'll say, and marriage together.
Oh my God, marriage. Yeah.
Okay, so let's practice it. Welcome to the Good God Pod. Today we're talking resurrection.
And marriage.
You say relationships, and I say, and marriage together. Jesus, help us, God.
Yeah, let it go say something.
Welcome to the Good God Pod, everybody, where today we're talking resurrection.
Relationships.
Forgot again, didn't you?
No, I did not. I just like to make you angry.
It's working. It just didn't until just now. It just now started working. Let's try it one more time. Good God. Welcome to the Good God Pod, where today we are talking resurrection,
Relationships,
and marriage. Marriage and love.
love and marriage.
I would like to state my innocence in here.
You're trying me. I don't know why we're filming this. I don't know why you're doing this. Why are you doing this?
Because I can.
Like, I will veto this.
Veto.
Yeah.
Okay, Trump.
I will executive order this.
Okay, all right, enough.
We are here today at the Good God Pod with Pastor. What are we even doing?
Doing a wedding ceremony.
He's so angry.
We're here at the Good God Pod with Pastor Josh, lead pastor of Reborn Nation, and my lovely wife, First Lady Vanessa Peter. Yes, who is really, really trying me today for this episode of the Good God Pod. She came on here with PJK. Y'all saw that version. This is great time to be talking about relationships and marriage.
You know what? At least when we did the podcast, it says, "Why is Pastor Josh back?"
That is an AI simulated prompt. And it hadn't been there since. Like, you found one. It had several prompts. One said, "Why is the host wearing a cowboy hat?" I saw different ones. Which our people wouldn't say, "Why is the host?" They'd be saying, "Why is PJ?" Anyway, I ain't got time for this garbage. We're diving into the Good God Pod. Mm-hmm. And today we're supposed to be talking about the resurrection.
I love Jesus.
And let's start off talking about marriage. That's where we are. We'll end up with the resurrection and relationships later, because this is marriage right now. You've decided that you're going to wake up today and choose violence. This is what you've chosen.
No, I have not.
I hunted you down in a Pooler to have lunch with you, and this is how you.
And then you took me to eat Mexican that burnt my tongue. I couldn't eat it.
Sounds like a genetics problem to me. I don't know what to tell you. It was good. It was authentic. It was delicious, and it was a new spot. Mm-hmm. It was a new spot. It was spicy. The food you had me try on yours that you got that homemade pico was really.
It was not pico though.
Well, that's what you said. So I'm going off what you said.
They said esto pica, which means it is spicy in Spanish.
Well, I didn't hear you clearly.
My husband's bilingual, y'all.
And she's making fun of all the Effingham County English speakers right there.
No, I'm not.
Very cool. Well, this is marriage. Doesn't always go like it's rehearsed and scripted to be. Today's one of those days.
Babe, I love you.
I love you too. I'm just agitated right now a little bit because it took us 5 introductions because you're being silly today. And
silly? How am I being silly? Tell me.
Gosh.
I'm so sorry.
I don't want to tell you. I just want to move on with the Good God Pod. Can we just... People are going to be watching this saying, "What is going on?"
This is the funnest you've had, sir.
I don't know about all that. But speaking of marriage is about relationships. We're going to be talking about relationships. We're going to talk about the resurrection and what relationship that plays in our Christianity. But when it comes to marriage, I was going to save this for the end. But we're here now. I mean, there's no other way to get, we couldn't start with something holy the way we got to build to that now. But why does marriage tie into resurrection? Because Christ being the bridegroom, the church being his bride, we are supposed to be in a relationship. And much like Christ, can sometimes be frustrated with his bride on the way she acts and handles herself. I feel Christ-like today.
Man's gonna pass out. So back in the day, my husband used to, when he laughed so much, he would tunnel and then just.
I used to
was
faint.
like, whoa.
I had what they call vasovagal syncope.
Yes, you did.
It's when the vagus nerve that runs up through your temple into your brain
Anatomy lesson.
laughs so hard it cuts it off, and then you just faint and pass out. It
So
could
tell
be
me,
scary.
wait, hold on, pause. But just go ahead. Tell me, stand in that vein about Jesus being, he's coming back for his bride that is obviously irritating. So tell me how you're like Christ, sir. I want to know.
Because I felt the irritation and frustration with the bride for a minute there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I love the bride. Thankful for the bride. Don't want her with anybody else. Glad she's mine. But I was frustrated, a little agitated a little while ago.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. Just par for the course. I'm kidding. Not par for the course. This is my nightmare. We get along. Our marriage is, everybody's thinking right now, is he really getting mad? No. Was I really frustrated? Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. But we actually do like each other.
Yeah.
We don't just love each other, which is the most important, because you have to choose to love one another. You don't, either you like somebody or you don't. You can't choose to like someone. You can choose to love someone, but you can't choose to like someone. Either do, you don't. Thankfully, thank God we actually do like each other. Mm-hmm. And it's not something that happened to where we fake that. We enjoy each other's company. When we were in Chicago after we did the speaking engagement up there, we enjoyed the city together. And we actually do. We enjoy our time. Okay. And we are two completely, totally, vastly different people in a lot of ways. Absolutely. We have some similarities.
Okay.
That work. We both love music. We love the Lord. We're family people, all that good stuff. But when it comes to tasting food,
mine's better.
Some music, movies, and entertainment, we are totally different people.
I mean, if you look at the way that we're dressed today, right? My husband let me know while we were in Pooler, hey, babe, let's do the Good God Pod.
I didn't let you know anything. You asked me about it.
Absolutely not. Sushi called me and she said, Pastor Jacari said, let's do the Good God Pod.
So am I Pastor Jacari? Let's just get that. See, okay. And here's how marriage works. Words get put in your mouths, men, that you never said. So we just heard straight from her mouth that Pastor Jacari said, and that's what was passed on to me. I didn't say anything. I got the call on the way to you. PJK says he thinks it'd be a good idea for you and First Lady to do the Good God Pod. They say, cool. I'll see you there in a little bit. And when I get there, you're like, I heard we're doing the Good God Pod. I was like, yeah, sure.
So you don't want me here? I can leave.
No. What are you doing?
I would like to state my innocence in here. So yeah, just don't blame me for anything. All right.
Like, I don't know if we should air this or start over.
No, this is a lot of fun. I love this. No, we're just kidding. No, and I'm just kidding. I like to get under his skin. That's the best part of our marriage. He is my best friend. I love to get under his skin. I probably am the only human in the world that can do this to you. And you keep laughing like.
And not die. Yes.
But no, I mean, we obviously.
We pick at each other.
All the time.
Although my wife is known around our friend group as one who picks but does not like to be picked on.
That's been my whole life.
Listen, it's good to have fun as long as I'm the butt of the joke. We can laugh, have a good time. But if I turn it, I got one, maybe two jokes to throw before it's shut down, and then I got to console her because she's about to cry. She's gotten so mad because I picked at her a little bit. So, marriage, man, you gotta learn those lines. You got to toe those lines. You got to learn each other, appreciate each other. And every now and then for fun, you get on each other's nerves. You know, that keeps the fire alive. You can't make up if you never get any little fights. And it's good that we have little tiny play fights, fake fights that aren't real.
Not real.
We don't get in those. Although, let's go ahead and tackle the big orange elephant in the room here. The big purple elephant in the room. If people, we went... Me and PJK go on Tuesdays and Thursdays to these business referral team groups in Pooler and Effingham. My wife while we were in Chicago, twice on the same day. And if you've been here any amount of time, you know this is my wife's MO. She falls. She trips and falls a bit. And we're in Chicago, and twice in the same day, she fell. The first time we were walking on the street. The second time we were going up a rusty, dusty, old, nasty stairwell, and she fell. And I said, my God, I turned around. And so from where she fell, she is bruised up and down her body. And two of them, when she fell back, she's got two massive bruises right above her elbows, where people who see those bruises, it looks like a prime candidate for me to have grabbed her by her arms and to bruised her. Look at that. And she comes in there on Tuesday, and we're sitting there, and she's wearing a sleeveless top, and she's got these bruised arms. And I can just see people looking and trying to say, did he do that? I wonder. I can see people looking at me going, did you beat your wife? And I'm like, I look at her after the fact. I said, honey, did you not think, why didn't you wear a long sleeve? She goes, well, it's warm and hot. I said, yes, but you're bruised. And look at where you're bruised. People are going to look and assume because of where they are. I said, I'm literally going to have to get up next Tuesday before I speak and say, listen, I know all you guys saw the bruises on my wife, but I want to assure you that I did not cause them. She is just clumsy, and she failed twice.
Okay, let's talk about how I felt. I was wearing Converse, and you know this to be the truth. I fall when I'm wearing flats, which is really ridiculous.
It's weird.
It's weird. It's a very weird
5-inch heels, you walk fine.
You know why? Because I danced for so long.
Don't start this. We've talked about, don't. No,
I'm telling you.
No, athletes don't fall like that. No.
Man of the Most High God. No. I am just telling you it's different with dancers. Okay. I think you're just hilarious. Everything's
the only dancers I've ever seen fall as much as you are ice skaters. And it's a whole different level of difficulty when they're doing it. Now see how bad she's getting now? Do y'all see? The one time I throw shade, look at her. See? Look at that's what I'm talking about.
I'm not mad.
Everybody watching right now saw your whole demeanor go, oh, now she's mad. See, that's it. And it all started because I just defended myself.
No, but okay, pause. Okay, yes, the bruises look really bad, but I ping-ponged my way down the stairs. And then I was so tired. And I looked up and I said, how did you get up there, babe?
And so you heard it from her mouth right there.
I felt bad.
I did not hurt her. I did not grab her.
No.
It just looks really bad. And where they are looks really bad.
That's okay. We're all good here.
But we don't fight like that. We do pick and play. We have a good time. But again, I think part of it is in marriage. You know, we've been married now. We're just weeks away from 17 weeks or 17 years.
17 weeks is wild.
17 years of marriage. And so I want everybody to see this little back and forth playing we're doing was not scripted. It just kind of how it came to be. But, and we're not really mad, either one of us. We're just playing and having a good time and picking. But in 17 years of marriage, you best be prepared for there to be some bumps in the road, for there to be some disagreements, for you to have days that you necessarily don't want to be around each other or don't like each other for a split second.
Mm-hmm. What are you laughing at?
You just said,
No, I'm just thinking about when you went to Disney with Clay and you just didn't like me and I didn't understand why. It hurt my feelings.
What are you talking about? The one time I was like, I just got to be away.
Yeah, I didn't understand. I was so hurt. I said, okay.
This was what, 7 years ago? 6?
Something like that. And I said, what did I do?
Yeah, it was.
But it wasn't.
I didn't go to Disney. I went to California.
Whatever.
We went to Anaheim. We were in LA. We were at the convention, the NRBs.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And I was
like, you go on trips all the time, but it was just random that you said, I just didn't want to be around you. I said,
so.
Okay.
No, it's good to just. Okay, so this was about almost 7 years ago.
Yeah.
About 6-7 years ago, and we had just been legitimately fussing a little bit, not playful like this. And I just got to the point I was agitated and I was legitimately frustrated. And so what happened was, you know, being married pastor in a church, I'm not going to go anywhere. What am I going to do? Blow off steam, go play golf? You're going to do so much golf or whatever. And so when Clay had come to me and said, hey, they hired me to come do this thing in NRBs. I got a free hotel room and tickets. All you got to do is pay for your flight if you want to go for a quick 4 days out to California.
Yeah.
And I thought, I can call the Dream Center and go lead worship one night, hang out with Joel and see some people I ain't saw in a long time.
Yeah.
and just gets me out the house and gets me away for a few days. I think that's a good idea. So that's what I did. I went out there, and I initially wasn't going to stay in the room with Clay. I was going to stay at the Dream Center, but they walked me down in there to where they house the people. It's like a single 4-inch thick bunk bed. And I said, nah, I'll go stay with Clay. I'm not staying here. And so I had to catch a taxi and pay $50 to go across town to get to where he was, or to go to Anaheim there. But also went to Saddleback while I was there, hung out with,
I remember that.
what's her name? Kaylee, but it ain't
Vesuvius.
Vitruvius. You said Vesuvius. I can't remember her last name. It's been so long. She was a social media specialist.
I think it was Valencia or something like that.
I don't know. But that's what happened. We were having just a time, and I was like, I just need a few days away. And I think, again, it hurt her feelings so bad. She's like, why would you? I was like, honey, I love you. I just needed some time away. I didn't go do anything crazy. I didn't go gamble. I didn't go to, obviously as a Christian, I didn't go gamble, didn't go to strip clubs, didn't go do, I just went and did church in a different city and state for a couple of days. And when I got back, it was great. I felt refreshed and see what she don't get. She'll never admit this, but whenever we had first gotten married and she would take the kids to go be with her parents, that was her getting away too. She absolutely needed it and wanted it. She wouldn't ever say that. And that's one thing people don't realize how you and I are different. She felt that, but she could not come to grips with telling me that. She didn't want to hurt me. Me, I didn't want to hurt her. I wasn't trying to hurt her, but I'm a brash person, so I'll just tell you why. I went away because I needed some time. So people get intimidated by me because I'll just tell you. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but I'll be honest with you and just tell you what I think, and you're a little bit better about not doing that.
Yeah, I don't hurt people.
You protect people's feelings a little bit more, and I'm not trying to hurt people.
I don't think you are.
I'm just saying stuff. I'm just being honest with you.
I really think that you and Amber should have been brothers and sisters, because she'll say stuff and I'm like, ma'am, be nice. But it's how I think that we work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that I am the frosting on the cupcake, right? And you...
What am I then? If you're the frosting.
You're the moist cake, right?
No, we're doing a new analogy. We're doing new iconography here. We're not doing cake.
We're the sushi.
No.
I don't know. What do you want to...
I am the cleaning chemicals in the detergent, and you are the air freshener.
Air freshener.
The scent. So when you clean your clothes, you've got a chemical that does the cleaning, then you got a chemical that is the scent and makes it smell pleasant.
Okay. Yeah.
You're the pleasant smelling fragrance. I'm the scrub-a-dub-dub.
That's wild.
I just clean you one way, and then you make it smell pretty, sound pretty.
Funny. No, but we really, honestly, Joshua, we don't fight
Pastor
like that.
Josh.
Okay, Pastor Josh.
I'm just kidding, honey.
Whenever you say, sir. I mean, I think that seriously that's why we work, is I try not to get, in my feelings about like a lot, because I just know you and how you are for such a long time.
You used to get them early in the marriage. Yeah, you used to get upset a lot because there was an adjustment period, because that is true about 12. Me. And you can't say that, even playing. People will, what are you thinking? See, that's the stuff I'm talking about. What are you doing? Somebody could take just that alone and say,
okay.
Good Lord.
I was 19 and a half.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
You were 2 weeks from 20. You were not even 19 and a half. You were 20.
Okay.
You were 2 weeks from 20. You were 20.
Okay. I was 20. No, I was 20. 20 years old. But this is what's fun about us, because I like to push his buttons, and then, it's always fun after.
I was 12. Like, what are you thinking, man? Somebody's going, anyway. When you're dealing with relationships, you got to learn to evolve and grow with them. Mm-hmm. Because there's no such thing as a perfect one. There's no such thing as a take and no give. There's always give and take, and it's always going to feel, I tell people this when I do marriage counseling all the time. If it feels like you're giving more than taking, good, then you're probably giving the right amount.
Right.
If you don't feel like you're giving equal amounts, then you're definitely a taker. It should feel like you're giving more than what you take.
Yeah.
And that would probably be a better look at true compromise, because relationships grow, they evolve, they mature, and they get better. You and I, about as close as we come to fighting, is in realistic terms only slightly more than what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
It's nothing like it. When we first got married, there would be not physical knockdown drag-outs, but verbal knockdown drag-outs and threats. And
It was hard, I think, for me, just talking about my standpoint, because I left everybody my entire life, all my friend group, my family. I left them for you. And it was extremely hard to find like real friends in a new place, and I loved your parents so much. And, I wanted that closeness because you guys are a really tight knit family, you know what I'm saying? And Thad is still like sincerely like a brother that will get under my skin, and I will want to punch that man in the face.
He
But
still
I
does it
love him
purposely.
so much. I know he does. And that's what's, it's fun about
like you
that
do me, because
aspect.
here's the other thing. Hold on. When you and my brother are together, they double team me. They purposely join forces and will start to say stuff like, Vanessa, I remember that time you were a single mother for 4 months when Josh was on Rise of Star. I used to pray for you. I felt so sorry for you. I can't believe you. And she goes, what do you mean was? I still am, Thad. And I'm like, oh God. And it just, oh God. And I get so, yeah, it really gets me frustrated with you and my brother when y'all are together, because y'all purposely try to push my buttons in. And I'm like, but to my defense, it doesn't happen as much
No.
anymore. And I don't get as frustrated as I used to.
No, when we
I'm a
first got
lot
married,
more mellow than I used to be. But like I said, we evolve. Relationships evolve, and there's give and take, and there's learning, and there's implementation, and you got to be willing to change. The status quo, there's no such thing in relationships. We are people. We are human beings. We go through different situations and life events, so we're constantly being shaped. Even when it comes to the status quo with each other, when we've taken a beating from other areas of our lives, it will tend to affect how you respond to someone else. And so there's moving and rearranging with that. So that's something we've been able to do. Now, to God's credit, is both really major times that we had to do some rearranging and adjusting in our life and marriage together. God put us in places where all we had were each other.
Yeah. Oh,
Like there was no one else for us to reach out to. There was no one else for us we had to rally together and help each other and really lean on one another. So to God's credit, whenever he allowed us to go through those things, all we had was each other. Yeah. And I think that worked wonders for us, becoming even closer and growing closer together and learning one another, because it's also created that gratitude for that. We know what we've been through together. And we know we can trust one another. And that's when relationships are good. Like when you have these long-term friendships, not these proximity ships, but real long-term relationships with people such as friends or family or whatever the case may be, there's a level of trust that has been built. There is a level of familiarity that has been built. You've learned that. And that's where you really, all the Johnny come latelys and grass is green on the other side, people don't take into account what's been built and the trust and the relationship and the understanding that you have. And why people risk that is beyond my comprehension, but it's something that we have. So we're not just married. You can be married and not have a great relationship. Yeah. But we happen to be married and have a really strong, really great relationship that I'm grateful people are seeing us pick and play a little bit today. Because it's not bad, but it shows that we can pick and play and agitate one another a little bit, which is cool.
No, and I too think that, when being so young in our relationship, even like when we were in Jessup, like all we had was each other. We didn't have anybody else. And God literally, I think, put us in that situation so that we could get ready for what's happening next. And I think that that's where our relationship like really evolved into such a, great relationship, because all we had was each other. Like on your birthday, I went and got you a Walmart cake because I mean we live between a cow pasture and like a small road,
Cowfield, cornfield, cottonfield, woods.
literally. And so it was just us. And then I was pregnant with Alex. It was just it really solidified like our relationship. And I'm thankful for that because we were watching a show a couple days ago, and it really wrecked me on the inside because you, as a married person, as a married woman, especially, because obviously we're more emotional and la da 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 da.
No.
Okay. Anyways, it really got me in a place where I had not thought about, like, if something were to ever happen to you, like how I would respond. And I sincerely, like, I was so
You were
choked.
crying a
I was
lot.
crying.
You were sobbing. I'm like, but I'm right here.
No, I understand that, but
I'm right here.
But it's not even that. It was just the fact that me and you have such a great relationship. Like, and I love you, and I do love spending time with you. But it was just like, oh my God, like, what would I do if something were to ever happen? And it was just like, it was terrifying because it's like we got married so young, which is not uncommon for the South, however, but like,
But so young, you were literally 20. It ain't like it was in the 60s, 70s. You were 16 and I was 18.
Pause, because in South Florida, young is 36.
And in the show we were watching, they were talking about how they got married younger and stayed together and loved each other.
Yeah.
And they talked about the pitfalls of that city living. Basically what she's saying is I ruined her for anything else. She's hooked on Josh.
I don't think that I could do life with anybody else.
I was just trying to laugh again and see you stayed serious. And I appreciate that, honey. I love you too. And that's one thing we do. Eventually we got to get back to it. Right before you got sick and things started happening, we had launched a marriage mentorship.
Yeah, I remember.
And we were going to mentor, I think it was 2 couples we were willing to mentor, to meet with regularly, pray with, meet with, train, and disciple.
We had signups.
And we had like 30 couples signed up.
Yeah.
And then you got sick and we couldn't. Maybe we need to bring that back. Because I think that's one thing that's lacking. We live in a day and age now. You and I both came from really strong familial backgrounds.
Right. Yeah.
Your parents were together till your dad died. My parents together were together for 25 years till a foolish decision into that. But while I was growing up, 25 years of my life, it was a strong, central married unit. And so because of that, we both kind of knew what that looked like. And that was a model for us. And the reality is not many people had that. And so we got a lot of people who are trying to learn how to be married who've never seen it,
Yeah.
walked out or lived out right in front of their eyes. And so it could be a little more confusing for people, a little more difficult to attain. And so at some point, maybe in the fall, we can do that and relaunch that. Maybe get a couple of couples we can mentor and disciple, because we do have a great relationship. And I think people see that when we're on stage together, and anybody that's around us, we have a really strong relationship. And that's a strong relationship with 2 flawed people. We love each other. We love the Lord, but we're not perfect.
But I think too, it's a lot of Jesus is involved with that, because I've taken on now, like, something that I tell myself, like, if you make me angry about whatever it is, I'm like, God, if he's wrong, show him. But if I'm wrong, fix me. And it took me a long time to get to that place, because I was hot-headed. I was, like, it was a lot. Because I was an only child, I was extremely spoiled. I always got my nails done. I was always in the salon, and I was just a little princess getting whatever I wanted. And then marriage was a completely different beast. And I learned a lot. I mean, I remember, babe, do you remember the Banana Republic pants?
Why you got to ruin a perfectly good conversation with bringing back traumatic memories?
Okay, this is not traumatic.
It was
Stop being a
traumatic.
baby. Anyways, so I was doing laundry because he's like, do you think you could do some laundry? I was like, yes.
No. That's romanticized. Go back. Romanticized.
Okay, tell me.
So I was working. We lived right across from the church.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got married. Now, what we didn't know is that you were pregnant. So
Yeah,
you were sleeping a lot and you weren't feeling well.
Yeah.
But every time I would come home, she'd be laying in bed. I was like, what are you doing? Like, you need to get up, do something, go somewhere. And so I came home and I was kind of being snarky about it. I was like, hey, so if you're going to be laying here doing nothing, you mind doing some laundry, instead of, what? And so I was being kind of smart about it. And that's why I was so mad at first. I thought she did it on purpose. But she'd grown up. She'd never done any laundry. Y'all, we got married. She never swept the floor.
Really?
Nothing.
Fabulous.
Her mom had done it
that.
all.
Love
And
that.
so, yeah.
Shots fired. Cool.
And so whenever she did, I had just bought these white, really nice slacks from Banana Republic. And she did my laundry. And when she did, I got home, those pants turned into capri pants that were 3 sizes too small, and they were like pink.
I did not know.
What have you done?
I didn't know that you were supposed to separate darks and lights. Okay, so just put everything in there. And I put the detergent in there and everything, and I was pushing the button. I called my mom. I said, hey, Mom, why is the like washing machine not working? She's like, what are you doing? And this is before FaceTime. And I said, I'm pushing the button. And she's like, pull the button. And I said, thanks. And I hung up and I was like, that's great. But I did not know. I didn't know I was pregnant. And I think that happened a week before youth camp. And on youth camp, we found out that I was pregnant with Caleb Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun situation. Like most women, they tell their husbands, bun in the oven, yay. My husband said no. Literally looked at my face and said, no. And walked away. And I'm sitting here
hold on.
Babe, I know we weren't in a position
That's the whole thing was we had talked about it, and I was just a youth pastor making youth pastor money. We were broke. We could not afford anything. And so when she told me, it wasn't that I was upset my wife's pregnant, we're going to have a kid together. There was a sheer panic of, oh my God, what are we going to do? Like, this is not possible right now. We can't do this right now. And I legit did. And I said, no.
You just said no. You said no, and then he walked away.
No.
And then I looked at my father-in-law and I said, why? And he's like, he'll be okay. He's just in shock right now. I said, okay. And it was terrifying. It was terrifying because I'm like, what? But looking back now, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I had not gotten pregnant at the moment that the Lord allowed me to get pregnant, my boys would not have had the relationship with my father. And, my dad passed away when Caleb and Alex were 2 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that God allowed, them to forge like a bond. And Abi, my
They
grandma,
were actually 5 and 3.
5 and 3.
So they got a little bit more time.
Yeah. But I mean, it was still like, you don't think about those moments because you're just like, are you serious? We just got married trying to figure out, marriage. And, I knew I wanted kids because I love kids. Anywhere I find like kids, I'm like, hello. But, it is what it is.
Yep, love my boys. They're good boys. But if the Lord tarries his coming, we are but 4-5 years max from them being gone and done. And we get to live a little bit of life. And we got more money now than we did as me as a youth pastor. So we can actually do a few things, which we already do. God bless us and that's all. But no, it was, again, the status quo changed. And so relationships will adjust, they will adapt, and you got to grow, and you got to hold on.
But that's why I don't believe that people say, oh, I fell out of love. Why? Love is a choice. Love is something that you get up every morning, whether they're your favorite person or not that day. You're like, God gave this gift to me, and I'm not going to just be frivolous about it. It's hard. It's not easy. Marriage is has never been easy. However, it's just like, it's one of those things that you have to put your feet down and like, I'm not leaving. And if you're not leaving, we're going to work at this every single day. And
well, that's why I'm glad you brought up the whole thing about me even going out to California when you said, you were upset that I had to get away. Because people look at us and I think they assume that we're happy all the time. And we are for the most part. Like we laugh about it. We talked while we were in Chicago. We just brought this up, said, people don't get it. Like how much we enjoyed it and how it's so easy and effortless for us to spend time together. But, again, people say it's easy to say you have to choose love, and it's easy to say you have to be committed when you cannot, when you enjoy each other and you really, but what happens when you don't like each other? Well, I think it's good when you brought up the fact that in these 17 years, there have been times to where one or both of us needed to get away for a few days, not a few months, not relocate, not a separation of any kind like that. Just a few days, whether it be you going home or a guy's trip or whatever, girls trip, whatever. And here's the thing. Yeah, you've taken a few. Taylor, Miami.
That was her bachelorette.
But it's still a girls trip. It still constitutes a girls trip, honey, being gone a few days with the girls. But whatever the case may be, there were seasons to where as much as we love each other, that you don't necessarily like each other for a few days. Mm-hmm. And so choosing to love is not just something we preach, it's something we teach. It is something that we have lived and walked, and can be done. And if you stay committed and choose to love each other enough, eventually the light will return. Yeah. You got to be willing to see. You got to be willing to see the sun when it's shining and not draw the shades just because you're mad.
Well, and I think it's important too that our kids have seen us love each other in that way, even like, in life, just all of it, ministry, whatever it is, that they've been able to see us. And like, we do kiss each other in front of the boys, not gross or anything, but we like, we show affection because the boys one day will have a wife, and what they see is how they're going to respond. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, even if I've been mad at you, I don't go bad talk to my kids about you and how terrible you are as a person. I'm always, your dad is fantastic. Your dad provides for us. Your dad is strong. You have no idea what your dad goes through and all this stuff. Not that you go through a lot, but I'm just saying, like, just in general, like having
your dad
two
does
jobs.
Work 2 jobs.
No, but I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I remind them that it's not just a me thing or a you thing. It's an us thing. Mm-hmm. And like, we don't make any decisions without.
Well, but here's the thing, like you don't even know it. I'm going to tell you now. I know you're going to be okay with this, but it's not something that happens a lot. But I don't do it with Alex yet. But with Caleb being 16, there have been a few times whenever he has known that I was frustrated with something that you said or did. He said, "Hey, Dad, you upset with Mom a little bit?" And I said, "Yeah, a little bit." And then I have a conversation with him about it. And I'm doing that strategically, and I don't talk down about you about it. Whenever I have these, I've only had like 2 or 3 with him. I have these conversations with him, tell him how I deal with it. Because at 16, he's becoming a young man. I want him to realize, as a man, it don't mean that you don't have emotions, you don't have feelings, and you don't get upset. But here's how I deal with it, and here's what I believe, son, is the healthy biblical way to deal with these things. Mm-hmm. Because him as a young man needs to know that too. And so there's those things that I've started sharing with him again, just little things here and there about how to cope with it. Because again, we live in a day and age now where nobody's ever been told no. So when you're married and your spouse disagree and you're told no, or they don't, it leads to potential World War III with people. So we got to have these healthy ways to deal. Now, talking about those relationships, one of the reasons why our relationship is so strong and has been is we never let another relationship get in the way. Mm-hmm. When I counsel people, or you remember this, I didn't counsel these people, but Vanessa's cousin got married. And we were at the reception, the big rotating thing in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah. And everybody's giving this advice
cutesy advice.
All these advice for the married couples. Oh, yeah, do this, do that, or don't do this. Don't worry, I won't tell. Come to me, and he don't have to know, or she don't have to blah, blah, blah. Yes. And I just looked at her. I said, I'm about to make a lot of people mad. And she's like, I got the microphone. I said, hey, I want to give you some real advice here, some real sound advice. Don't listen to anything these people just told you. And I'm in a room full of people. They just like, I said, here's the reality. If y'all want to have a successful marriage, when you guys are having issues, do not go running to these people, because they don't know what they're talking about. And they will tell you what you want to hear. They will always pick your side. You end up with 10 different voices in your head telling you what you should or shouldn't do, how you should or should not feel. And you're going to compound the issue and add more confusion and chaos to your life. Unless it is a dire situation, unless there is abuse happening, if there's disagreements and you guys just don't like each other, don't go to any of these people. You go to each other, go to a pastor, go to a therapist, whatever. Don't go to each other's families. Don't go to each other's parents, and don't go to each other's friends. You go, stay with them, because they're incapable of giving you good sound advice and judgment.
Yeah. That's
and they were so mad at me, those people. But I meant, like, I care about these people. I'm going to say one thing I think is of value. And we did a good job at that, is we didn't put other people and interject people into our relationship. Yeah. We didn't let other people come first. We didn't let other things get in the way. We have always did date nights. Sometimes we do date nights every month. Sometimes it'll be 2 or 3 months. We keep having
Always
date
try.
nights, just like then going to Chicago for a couple of days. That's a date night.
Yeah.
We have always reserved the spot of this relationship for each other, and we've never let anybody or anything else get in that position of priority. And a lot of people, if they're not careful, they will let work or the job or mama's boys or daddy's girls or whatever else, or friends or toxic relationships or traumas of the past, they will let those things take precedence and sit in the priority seat of their relationship instead of keeping their spouse or significant other in that place. And we've always done a pretty doggone good job of keeping that place clear for one another.
Yeah, no, that's true. I remember that day, that day of the wedding, and it was let me see, it was my dad who said, "Hey, Josh," he said, "That's good advice." And I remember coming back from and I didn't admit to myself that I needed like just a break from life, in Douglas, but I just it was a lot. And so I remember my dad said divorce is not a word that you use in marriage ever. And it was I think that was one of the times that it really shaped me, because then I was like, you know what, you're right. Yeah, I got to do what I got to do.
And that first year was rough. The first year was really rough.
It was hard.
We don't like to look back at it because we love each other so much and like each other so much now, and it's easy now. But that first year was rough, and so people need to be prepared for that. But again, relationships, we didn't let other stuff get in the way. And here's the thing: we've had stuff that has tried to weasel its way in. We've both gone through heartache for people in ministry. And that's one thing I think. The one thing I think I've grown at, and I hope other people can, is, and this is something I think people can see in the last year to 2 years of me, is I still love people just as much as I always have. And that's not going to change. It can't. I can't release the burden of carrying that God has placed on my life for his people. That's a supernatural thing. I can't control that. It's always going to be there. So I will love people, but I am not, as in the last couple of years, not as easily hurt, not as easily quick to jump to a conclusion. It's just, you got to learn that people are going to do what they're going to do. People are people. You will be let down. You will be offended. You will be grieved. There will be attempts at manipulation. There will be lies. There will be deception. And you can either cry about it, whine about it, or you can put on your big boy pants and let it go and just trust God. Now, what you can't do is allow the impact of those things to spill over into your other relationships. One of the biggest problems people have with their walk with God is they will allow other things outside their walk with God impact their walk with God. They're disappointed with a different relationship, so they bring that into their walk with God. They got offended and hurt because something happened with somebody else, and then they come and they blame God.
Mm-hmm.
They want to project onto God issues outside of their walk with God. Now, you may say, well, if it's with God, then God knows all things, and God's a part of it all. Yes, he is. But what I'm saying is, the things that happen outside of our relationship with the Lord, we can't let those things dictate our relationship with the Lord. He's aware of it, but people have free will. You cannot hold God accountable for the decisions and choices that other people make.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we, as Christians, especially American Christians, do a really bad job of we hold God accountable for other people's problems and other people's issues and effects in our lives. And the crazy part of me is we hold God far more accountable than we hold ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But the part of that relationship we have with the Lord is you've got to protect that, like we talked about with each other, that priority seat. You can't let other stuff spill into that. And we've both gone through some hurts in the last 3 or 4 years with people. We've been betrayed. We've been talked about. We've been posted about on social media. We've been lied on.
Mm-hmm.
We've been attacked. And we have huddled. We have, circled the wagons and dealt with it. But I think it's something that I think we both can attest that we've not stopped loving people, and we did not let it affect how we love each other.
No.
We supported each other.
Yeah.
It did not affect how we treat other people and love other people, and it certainly did not attack our walk with God. If anything, we did the healthy thing, the right thing, and we dove into the arms of the Lord,
Right. Yeah.
and allowed Him to be a place of comfort and strength and peace in that.
Yeah. And I mean, you talk about the evolution of relationship, or just even ourselves, because, we are constantly, changing and moving and growing is the word. And I think where I have grown since those things, have happened in our lives is that I don't allow, now it's not every time, and you know that, but a lot of the time I would allow people's opinion of myself to shape me because I'm a people pleaser and I'm still a people pleaser and I have to get out of that. But what I feel like the Lord has really been teaching me is I need to stop being like so apologetic for who I am because I'm never going to change who I am. I will forever love people the way that I love people, but I also now am guarded and know that, it's good to love people. It's fantastic to love the Lord, to love people like Jesus loves people. However, you don't have to give them free reign in your life.
And here's the thing. That's a God principle. People think, well, if you love people, you should not. No. Jesus had his followers.
Mm-hmm.
Then he had his 70.
Right.
And then amongst his 70, he had his 12.
Mm-hmm.
And amongst his 12, he had the 3. And so they were all his disciples. He loved them all.
Right.
But he knew there were certain people that he could trust and certain people he allowed closer than others. That's not a bad thing to say, well, you can't just say you do. You pick and choose who you can trust, who you build a relationship with. Again, you love everybody, but you don't have to like everybody. Yeah. There's people that come to Reborn Nation who I love that I don't personally like. Mm-hmm. We talked about it. Yes. Some of the names. Mm-hmm. And nobody would ever be able to tell who it is. They would never be able to tell who it is because I treat everybody the same way. They could never. Matter of fact, if you think you know who it is, I could guarantee you it's polar opposite of who you're thinking. Mm-hmm. But I would never. But that don't matter. I love them, and so it would also, I guess, shock other people. There are people that come to Reborn Nation who love this church, who love their pastor, who don't necessarily like me the most.
Right.
You know what I mean? It works both ways. Like, man, he's a great preacher, and I love the church. But man, as a person, I really don't care for Pastor Josh that much. You know what I mean? It wouldn't shock me. It would surprise me at all. And hopefully, that's a good thing that we're able to be mature enough to say, man, we have to love each other, but don't mean we always have to hang out with everybody all the time. Yeah. And I'm not saying we always want to build community. But those relationships got to be special too. What me and you have is special because nobody else has it. What our sons have with us is special because nobody else has that. Right. But we have stuff that our kids don't even have with us. Right. And that's the way it's supposed to be. But we got to hurry. I hate to shift gears here from relationships, but we're just coming out of Easter. Yes. We're filming this ahead of time, but it's Resurrection Weekend. Just rolling out the fact that he's risen from the dead. The tomb is empty. He's won the victory. He wears the victor's crown. He's coming back for us. And the reason why we can be strong in relationships, the reason why we can continue to grow and evolve and be committed to that is because of who he is and what he's done in our lives, in his church, in and for all of mankind. But there's power in the empty grave, and the empty grave is also a thing that propels us to do the things we're talking about right now. And at the end of it all, the reason why we serve, the reason why we strive to be faithful, the reason why we strive to grow in our walk with the Lord and continue to be established and to mature is because he rose again.
Right.
And that is what I think the things that hold us to it, because it can be easy, especially in ministry, with disappointments in relationships, with disappointments in people let you down, and disappointments in plans that you made that you thought were going to be of a different result than what they were. And you can get bogged down and get really discouraged. You can get really heartbroken. You can get really offended. You can be really grieved if you don't keep reminding yourselves and keep your eyes fixed on the cross and the empty tomb. Mm-hmm. He's the reason why we do what we do. He's why, he's how. And it's so important, even in our marriage, going back to the empty tomb and who he is in the resurrection. I'll never forget, one of the things that really helped you in our marriage was we went to a conference one time, and the pastor's wife was talking about her husband and said, the thing is, I love my husband. I know my husband loves me, but I trust him to be faithful, not because he loves me. If his love for me is why he was faithful, I would have some fears and doubts. She said, but I trust him and his love for the Lord. I trust his walk with God so much that I know I can trust his faithfulness because he would never cheat on God. Mm-hmm. And it's his commitment to the Lord that outshines his commitment to me, which makes his commitment to me steady and steadfast because I know how committed he is to the Lord.
Yeah.
And boy, that spoke volumes to you. It still speaks volumes to me. And I think it should speak volumes to everybody. Is when we keep Christ first, when we keep ourselves reminded of the blood he shed and the punishment he went through for our sakes, and the fact that he conquered death, hell, and the grave, and rose victorious and is coming back for us again. Us holding fast to that will allow us to hold fast in other areas, and it will drive our growth and maturity and our faithfulness. You remember that?
Yeah, no, I remember. Because it was just the ladies. And she said something like, I used to get so nervous because I'm not from the area. He is. He had all these girls like y'all South Georgia boys do.
All these girlfriends.
All these little girlfriends. And I think she said maybe 10 years in, and she had a revelation from the Lord when she was praying. And she said, the reason I can trust my husband the way that I trust him is because he is going to be faithful to God. And because he's faithful to God, he will be faithful to me, because he is more scared for the repercussions of denying like himself to the Lord, because we're serving God together. And he's like, he will never, ever do that. And so I know for a fact that he will stay faithful to me, our family, and all that stuff. And so, and it came on the precipice of me being so like, I guess, self-conscious because I was not from the area. Obviously, I don't look like everybody else. And just knowing Josh Peavy was the man, walking
Say it again so people, they think I lie about that.
No, Josh Peavy, when I think we had just gotten married. It was our first not youth camp. I'm sorry.
Camp meeting. 2,000 people in a big building.
I'm just in the restroom looking at myself, making sure like I'm okay. My makeup's cute and stuff. And they were like, are you Josh's wife? I was like, yes, ma'am. It's just like, who, Josh Peavy? And I'm like, I'm sitting there like, excuse me? And like, I had the South Florida Vanessa Peavy was coming up, the unsaved, unchecked, I will murder you and all of your family kind of situation. Obviously not. I'm not like that. But I was so enraged. I'm like, what did you say? She's like, well, Josh was, that guy that, everybody was like in love with, and his blue eyes. I'm like, yo, excuse me. That's when I said, yo.
That was probably like, shut your mouth.
I said, excuse. And so I was dealing with those like feelings, obviously minister, PK, whatever. But it was scary at times because I'm like, I knew that, someone that you had been in a relationship, you had been engaged to, still lived in the same town and all this stuff. And I was like, what in the world? Like years later, you told me about some situations, and I'm just sitting here like, is it time for me to call my cousin Tony in New York and like take care of the problem? Or like, but it just, in that moment, the Holy Spirit sincerely said, everything you've worried about, everything that you have stressed and had anxiety over, don't do it, because he loves you. And because he loves me so much, you need to like rest in the fact that he is a good man and that he will forever love you. And so I think literally in that moment, God really just relaxed that feeling in my heart.
Well, our past has ways of trying to creep back up too. Not that, and when I say past, not that there was anything ever on my end, but the history that I had. People would interject that. And some people did it being stupid. Some people did it maliciously. Some people were cousins and sisters of girls I had dated, and they were jealous and mad that I didn't wind up with theirs, and so they wanted to throw shade. Others were just being ignorant and not, you married Joshua. Girl, let me tell you, do you know who he was back then? And just throwing all this insecurity at you. And so our past can keep playing on repeat in our minds and our lives if we let it. Which again is why I say, if you, like you said, talking about that's what made you trust me, is knowing that how much you trust my walk with the Lord, is if we keep Christ centered, keep the empty tomb centered in our lives, our past doesn't really have much room to run rampant, because it all pales in comparison of who he is. And again, he is why we do what we do. Mm-hmm. He is the center of who we are. For I am crucified, Paul said it, for I am crucified with Christ, and yet I live. But it's no longer I who lives, but Christ which lives within me. And on the heels of Resurrection Sunday, I think it's important that we keep that in our minds, that it's him who is, it's supposed to be that he is living in us. He's living through us. And so why are we faithful? Why do we forgive when it hurts? Why do we keep loving? Why do we keep trusting? Why do we keep serving? Why do we keep going when it's difficult? Why do we keep fighting for it when it feels like all hope is lost or we're tired of fighting? It's because he is the prize. More than even our marriage being the prize, he is the prize. And he is the cement that holds us together. He is the glue that holds us together. And I think if I could give any advice to that, and here's the thing, we pray together, some we do, but we have in our individual walks with the Lord are what carries us so much. And I think if I can give advice to anybody, it's you need to know the Lord and they need to know the Lord.
Yeah, because the enemy creeps in any way that he can. But it is because we choose Christ. We choose, to live as Christ. And so if we don't have that relationship with Christ, I encourage you, read your Bible. Even if you don't necessarily understand it, come to IDT and it will really fortify how you read your Bible and do all the things. And, Resurrection Sunday, it is a great time to say, all right, Lord, I know I don't have everything together. I know that I can't do it by myself. So I'm choosing you this time. I need you to teach me how to do these things, whether you're married or you're not. If you're married, Lord, how can I love my husband in a way that is pleasing to you? What in my life needs to change so that I can be a better vessel, for Christ? Because we're supposed to be the light of Jesus. We're supposed to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And, people tell us all the time that, you're doing things that are not okay. But if we know that Christ lives in us and we know that he is like the glue that holds our broken pieces together, then that's all we need, because Romans 8:1. There's no condemnation.
So this Good God Pod has been this. Everything, all relationships, including your marriage, your friendships, they all should flow from your relationship with the Lord first. Keep him first and foremost. Keep him centered. He's number one priority. And if you're married, your spouse is right behind him. And then comes your children, then comes the friends and everything else, right? But the number one has got to be the Lord. It's the empty tomb. It's the fact that Jesus is the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Out of that relationship, everything else blooms and flows through that. And as long as it's blooming and flowing through your walk with Christ first, you'll have healthy relationships. Absolutely. You'll have a loving marriage, a loving relationship, a happy life, happy wife. And let all the other pieces fall where they may. Don't get offended when people offend you, when people turn their backs on you. They betrayed him first. They lied about him first. They tried to destroy him first. They ripped the beard from his face first. They spat on him. They cursed his name first. So when people persecute you, when people come against you, just know that you're experiencing just the tiniest, minimalist portion of all that Jesus went through on that crucifixion eve and day. And he rose having conquered all of it. So guess what? You can conquer it too. You can rise above it too. Greater is he that's within you than he that's in the world. Other than that, I want to thank my lovely wife for being with me today. We finally got into a groove after the first 15 minutes of her just throwing shade and all that good stuff.
You're my favorite.
But we got together. Love you. And hope you guys learn something from the Good God Pod. And be in church on Wednesday, midweek. Plug into IDT or GOAT or Go Crew or Vibe or Next Nation or Men of Valor or Victorious Secret. And be on the lookout for Marriage Madness trip coming up. Women's Conference May 1st and 2nd. And then we're doing a Marriage Madness trip to Jacksonville for some top golf and some food coming up. Pay attention for all of that. Now's the time to plug in, guys. We love you. Bring somebody to church. Hope to see y'all next time on the Good God Pod. Good God.